Hi everyone, my name is Katrina and I'm a librarian at Camden Libraries, and for Science Week I'm going to be talking to you about how you can reuse scraps in the kitchen to regrow vegetables. So let's have a look. Here is my windowsill. So there's basically two ways that you can regrow vegetables, either by sitting them in some shallow water like we have here, and that is a general rule for anything leafy, so lettuce and celery where you're trying to grow the leaves. But for root vegetables, what we do is we give them a little bit of a start before putting them in the soil. These have been growing for 2 weeks now, and as you can see, there is enough shoots on them that they are ready to plant into soil. Basically, so far we've given our plants some water, some sunlight, and the third thing that they need is food. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant them out in the garden. Here is the garden beds where I'm going to replant the vegetables. For each different vegetable, we will need to look at the specifics of when it's best to plant it, as well as how far apart they should be spread. What we're going to be focusing on today is the leek, mainly because it's one of the easiest vegetables to regrow from scraps. So with the leek, you cut the bottom off with the roots and you put that in some shallow water for 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how warm the weather is. If you don't want it falling into the glass with warm water, you can use a skewer to hold the leek in place to make sure it doesn't slip any further. Once we start to see some shoots come off and start to grow, we can either harvest them, or what we're going to do is we're going to replant it into the soil with some fresh potting mix. This vegetable bed has already been prepared with some straw and some healthy soil, so it is ready to go. I'm going to replant all my vegetables here, and I'm going to be planting them approximately 6 inches apart. The other thing is, if you are an avid gardener or mum and dad have some ingredients at home, one thing that is useful to add is a little bit of sea salt to make sure that you give your plants a nice healthy start with a boost of nutrients. Hi everyone, as we talked about, we're going to be planting all of our vegetables out into the gardens today with some nice sunshine. I know it's really cold and it's going not the ideal weather because the plants really require sunlight, warmth and water. The risk of leaving the vegetable scraps in the water is worse, however, because they can develop rot. So regardless of the weather, we are trying to regrow them, and all that will happen is it's most likely that the vegetables will regrow slower than at their ideal time in spring or summer. Here we are, everything is planted in the garden. I have my beetroot, my celery. You can't really tell, but there's a potato buried near that water bottle. I have my carrots, my lettuce, my leek, and my radish. So, as you noticed, the potato is completely buried because it's just sprouts. Everything else that has just started to sprout, as in green sprouts, leafy sprouts, has all of its roots buried, but just the fresh new greenery is poking out from the top. And that's all we need.